welcome back. It's been quite a while since I did a video. I'm going to do a series on converting the Freewing Cougar to a turbine using the X45 or K45, whatever you like. I've been flying the turbine-powered Cougar since, probably, I guess it's been late June. And it's gone pretty well. I've learned a lot of things. It's not without flaws, but we'll talk about that. But all in all, it's a pretty decent model. I got a tank that holds 38 ounces. It's set up pretty much how I do all my other conversions. And this series of videos, which there'll probably be about 6 or 7, I'm going to go through every step by step on how to do it. It's not the easiest one, but it's not the hardest one to do, and I'll try to talk you guys through it. This is the model I've been flying. The tank's pretty much right on the CG, or as close as I could and get it to it. There is like a 4mm CG shift from full to empty, which isn't the end of the world. I got the MAP 2-ounce UAT. This side over here, I got the brake valve and the light controller. I got the Castle BEC over here, the pump, and all the batteries are up front, and it takes 0 ballast, which works out pretty good. It takes off right at about, I don't have the figures in front of me. I'll get to the figures. All in all, it's a pretty decent model. It's got the, it's a long story. We'll have one video that just talks about the brakes. It's got the nose wheel brake on it. And I'll talk to you in that video on why I elected to do that over the main wheel brakes. In this series of videos, what I'm going to do is I got one model here that's pretty much halfway converted, and we're going to be doing the conversion on another model over there. Let me show you what the kit's going to include. It's got the tailpipe. You know, it's pretty much the same way I've been doing all of them. Freewing really made it tough on the tank because it's got a carry-through aluminum spar that runs through the top of the fuselage right there. And then it's got the gear door servos right there for the inboard doors. So it was challenging. I had to work around that, and it works out pretty good. So in the conversion kit, I'll have a couple templates of where to cut the bottom of the fuselage. I got a buddy of mine laser cutting all the parts. We got a new floor for the front of the fuselage. There's be a closeout for the upper part of the fuselage between the pipe and the tailpipe. I'm going to include a little, it's like a heat shield piece that keeps heat from kind of affecting the tail a little bit. It's going to go right about here. So I'm going to form that up for you guys. And, yeah, I think I'm going to include it in the kit. It's just easier. As you can see on that one here, it does take a little bit of heat there, but this part pretty much takes care of it. What this is made of, it's made of 3 layers of fiberglass cloth impregnated with BVM heat shield. There's no epoxy resin in this, and you know, fiberglass is really not affected by heat. And the heat shield takes it very well. The weak link has always been the epoxy resin, so we eliminated that. But all in all, the model's holding up pretty good. So I'm going to include the engine mounts, a tool to cut the engine mounts, the 5/64 music wire, the clunk, the tabs for the pipe, which we're going to put on a pipe tonight. I like this ProFlex line for the fuel tank. Receiver shelf, and then this is something new where I'll explain how it works. It's going to be like a locator that helps you locate the width of the engine mounts here. Okay, so let's talk about the flaws of the model first. So if you guys want to stop watching now, you can. I've lost two Cougars. The first one, I was in a big rush to get it to the EDF Jet Jam and decided to run everything through the blue box. And some people never have a problem with the blue box, some do. About the 10th flight, flying around, it was fine. It just kind of rolled over and went in. I know it wasn't the radio because I took basically the radio out, put it in another model without the blue box, and it worked fine. You almost got to run something through the blue box on the Freewing Cougar unless you got a radio that can sequence the main gear doors, okay? So I don't have a problem with running like the gear and the flaps through the blue box, but I highly recommend you do not run any flight controls through this thing. It's real easy to bypass. You know, these blue boxes are made so the average guy can run a 6-channel receiver and fly these models. And we all know most of you guys are running, at least the guys flying the turbines, are running more channels than 6. So let me walk you through this thing here. This is the one that's, I'm going to kind of keep ahead of the one that we're going to do on all the videos, just because I can take my time with this one and kind of show you what it should look like in the end. So here's that carry-through spar that I was telling you about, and Freewing really did a neat job on this, where the wings are really stiff on this model. The tube sockets here tie into the aluminum spar, and it's a very stiff model. They decided, you know, the foam got really thin here, so they elected to go with some like plastic, you know, ducting there, and you know it's got the wire chases here for the ailerons and flaps and gear doors, and then this is the chase for the gear. So I'm going to show you how we dish all this foam out to get the tank to fit, and then once that is fitted, you got to do a little carving on this to get this to fit up there. You know, this is the gear door servos that I was telling you about, and you know that's why this tank is so short in this area, because the CG is right about in this area right here. So, but all in all, it works out pretty good. Let's talk about one other mishap that I had with the Cougar. The blue box was on an EDF model, and I did end up crashing a Turbine Cougar model. And I had it spooled up really good coming out of a dive, and I looked up and half the elevators just kind of floated on down. I'm almost 95% sure what happened was this carbon spar that they have bonded in the aileron let go. There was very little glue on it at all. So in the process of pulling G's and the stabs bending, I think this bond broke loose right there, caused the elevator to kick up, and adios it went. It was a total loss, but so what I do now is I mask off along, if I can't pick it out by hand, and if it feels like it's a pretty good bond, I mask off along the sides of it, and then I glue it in with some foam tack. I wipe some foam tack on this spar right here and on the spar that goes in the horizontal. And I've really been keeping an eye on the one that I've been flying now to make sure that doesn't happen again. Because it did happen on the an EDF model that I was flying. This spar here was popped loose, and I didn't even catch it. A guy caught it at the EDF Jet Jam and said, "Hey, what's that hanging from your model?" I took a look at it, and the spar was unbonded. So this is an area that really needs attention because the stabs are pretty thin and flexible, and without the structure of the spars and the gluing integrity, it's the weak point of the model as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, I'm not positive that's what's happened on this wreck, but I'm pretty sure. So I highly recommend gluing these carbon spars back on. It is a very fast model. I mean, it's small, and it gets spooled up pretty quick. Let me find out. I got the figures here of what the thing actually weighs. There it is. The Turbine Cougar full tanks, full fuel, which, you know, holds 38 ounces, weighs 9.03 pounds, and that is with lights, and the lights add probably about 5 ounces. Empty weight is 7.02 pounds. So, and then the EDF Cougar by itself, with a 6,000 milliamp, weighs 6.95 pounds. So basically, it's landing the same weight as it is on an EDF. So it's not an issue at all. I mean, the thing lands really nice, very predictable, no wing drop, and you know, it's all a lifting body. I mean, it flies great. All right, so you know, once again, I'm going to go step by step on how to do everything. So tonight, or on the first video, we're going to put the tabs on the pipe here. And you guys, if you watched some of my videos before, you've probably seen me do this, but we're going to do it again. These are the tabs we're going to put on here, and I'm going to show you how we do that and keep it exactly on the center line. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to take a compass. You can use any cardboard or whatever you want. You want to set the compass to be just a little bit bigger in diameter than the bell mouth, and you just draw a circle. Okay. And then through that middle of the circle, we're going to just draw a line. Okay. So basically what's going to happen is that line is going to be a reference on setting the aluminum angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some clear tape down for a release so everything doesn't stick to the cardboard. And then I want to kind of decide, so you always want the seam facing you because that'll put it at the top of the model. And then I like to roughen up an area right here where I'm going to put the tabs. So I just take some 60 grit or so, just roughing it up a little bit. I'll take a little bit of alcohol or solvent, whatever you got. I'm just going to clean that off. Then we're going to position that with the seam about approximately 90 degrees to this line here. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue. Get in the middle of the circle. Double check it. Okay. Then these tabs, I leave them long because it's, you know, with manufacturing tolerances, you know, there's there's always a little bit of tweaking to do on them. So you get it to fit pretty good around the curvature. Open that one up a little bit. Something like that. And I trim them off because they don't need to be that long. I trim them off to about 1 inch there. And I take just kind of round the edges up a little bit and roughen it up. Okay. So now I mix up some JB Weld here. I'm going to mix up quite a bit more than what we need here because when we're done with the video, I'm going to do a few more. I know that I wanted to get these out a long time ago, but this little side gig here of doing these has turned into be a full-time job. Alright, so we're going to mix that up. Because basically this is like a bonding agent and like a liquid shim. So this is probably enough here to do about 5 pipes. I just take a syringe here, buy these on eBay all day long, they're cheap. And they work really good. Okay. So I put a little bit more on this side than that side there. It's kind of a reflection. So the part you really want to be concerned about, since these are going to be cut off right about here, you really want to make sure that this area right in there is right up against that line. Okay, we'll do the other side here. It goes a little bit more on this side. Okay, so you pretty much just walk away. So next video we'll put the rivets in. It'll kind of hold it in place. So we're just going to set that aside. All right, so I'm going to go over to this model here. What I recommend doing before you start anything is to get everything out of your way. So pull the gear doors off, pull the gear out. The inside of the model pretty much needs to be gutted, except for the inboard gear door servos, and you can leave the steering servo and the nose gear retract in. I got the 2 wires here for the inboard gear doors kind of taped up out of the way because you don't want to cut them. And a lot of people have a real problem with the way I cut these, but the only way to get this fuel tank in this model, I mean, we're gonna stick this thing in here. The only way to do that is to cut it. And I don't have a problem with it at all. When you glue it together with the tank in there, it's stronger than it was before. There is no possible way to get this tank in this model without doing what I'm gonna do. And you know, granted, you know, you can put an 8-ounce fuel tank in there without doing it, but you're gonna fly for 2 minutes. You know, this will let you fly for 9 minutes. Fairly hard, so it's up to you guys. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it. So, you know, once again, everything out of your way, all the wires out of the way except the those two inboard gear doors. And I want to include like a paper template in the conversion kit. And basically you just need to glue it on a piece of poster board or whatever. And we're going to position it right here where we're just going to like center it up on the radiuses right there. And the front one, I got it, I'm going to have like a line to where these panel lines are. That's how you're going to position it up front. So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw a pencil line down the thing. So, you know, it's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, when you start cutting, you don't, even if you veer off the line a little bit, just keep on cutting. Don't stop and jog over anything. It's going to mess up the model. You want one continuous cut. So I'm just going to put a pencil line down here. So, and this is a customer's model where he's going to want unilights. So, you know, I just took the lights that were in there out just to get them out of the way. And they pop out real easy if you just kind of grab them with the pliers. I mean, they pop out like they're nothing. So, you know, if you want to leave the stock lights in, I still recommend pulling them out. You don't do any foam damage at all. But it's just simpler. It's less stuff to work around. All right, so I'm going to use the, I got to put a new blade in this. Always start with a fresh blade. These are the Home Depot Husky knives, which I've used before. They work really, really good. Okay, and we're going to go full depth. So, something very important. I had a guy explain it to me like it's like putting a lid on a pumpkin, okay? You don't want to cut it with the draft the wrong way, or you're not going to get the pumpkin lid back on. And it's the same thing here, where if I cut it at an angle like that, you know, first of all, I'm not going to get the part out, and it's going to be really hard to get it glued back in. You just want a little bit of angle like that, okay? Doesn't have to be enough, a degree, 3 degrees, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to start to cut it. Okay, now I'm getting to the wheel well where I don't have a line. So, you know, this is my, this is going to be the 4th one I've done. So I've learned a few tricks along the way. So I just kind of use my template here as a guide to keep on cutting. All right, back to my line. you can go full depth. So you want to stop at a little bit of a draft angle right there. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. Once again, holding at the angle. Make sure I went down all the way over here. Okay, and same thing here. You just a degree or two an angle. Catch the same cut. Okay. All right, that's done. Now we gotta flip it over and finish the cut on the inside. So what I like to do is, I like to look, I should have a mark right there, if you can see the end of the cut. And then the end of the cut is right there, okay? So looking at the finished product, we're gonna have about a ½ inch of foam remaining there. So I'll shoot for cutting that little splitter right in the middle. So now we can get these wires out of our way. Tuck them down there. So we can see the splitter there. And then I'm going to aim for that dot that I put in. Okay. And I'm going to finish that up with a single edge razor blade. Let me grab a sharp one. Okay, got that. Do the other side. Okay. So we got to finish the cut on the very end of that splitter that I couldn't get to. And we do that by flipping the model over. Okay, so if all went well, it should pop right out of there. And this joint right here, it's where they have like a separate piece of plastic here that you can, if you ever had to replace these servos, it always breaks right there, but it's just like an overlap, and I recommend gluing that back on the very last thing you do after you bond this back down. There we go. All right, so here we go. So that looks pretty good. once again, this is what the finished product will look like. So this will get taken down to about a 1/2 inch right there. And basically all this is going to be gone. So I think that's where we're going to end it here tonight. And the next video, we're going to be sculpting out all this stuff here to get the tank to fit. And you know, you can see the aluminum sparring in there. And I got a template that I'm going to include that's going to kind of guide you. We'll show you here real quick. We'll be including a template also that's going to give you like a, after we're done taking out the foam, I'm going to include this template here where it gives you like a line you can develop on your fuselage that's going to give you like a guide as far as locating the tank and where to start carving. Okay, that'll do it for tonight. Subscribe if you haven't to my channel, and give me a like if you could. You'll get a little ding for the future videos. They're going to start coming out pretty quick. I'd say within the next week and a half I should be done with everything. Okay, thanks for watching.